Evening pals, welcome back to the channel. How are you all doing? I am back to hopefully put this bastard of a game to bed. God, I'm swearing already and I've not even done a lap. Yes, it is part 3 of Roadsters. Yesterday we brought out the save states. Shame. We reached the first division, so technically it's 10 races to go. In reality, a bunch of those might get repeated a bunch of times, but I am fully committed to those save states. As, yeah, we're taking the shortest route to the finish. Hi, Paraglider. What's the deal with this game? I will answer that while I do the first race. Hello, Snuffkin. All good times here, mate. Hey, Shadow. Yes, we are going after that. GG. Right, so yeah, as mentioned, we've got a 10 race season. So the same 8 tracks we've done before, plus 2 more. I also checked the VODs, and there was the 2 guys who have done this. There was a consensus on the car choice. They both went for this, which I think is the one I tested as well. The VM8 red. Just double check. Yeah, it was. So I'm just gonna go consensus. But I'm not going for red. More of a purple guy. All the upgrades as usual. So ostensibly, Paraglider, it's quite a straightforward game. You've got a cup, you buy a car, you win the races. You know, so nothing unusual there. The one unusualness is the extra tires you can buy are single use. So you have to go through this little chore between every race of buying the better tire and equipping it, and doing the same again for every race. But the issues with the game is in the gameplay. It's poorly tuned, poorly handles, and I'm going to swear a lot tonight. I was on Snuffkin's recommendation, I was checking the VOD for the N64 version this morning. It looked a lot more playable. Didn't look good, but it looked a lot less bad.
Get ready. Go! Get out.
Did you try this version as well, Snuffkin? Are we confirming that? You're not confirming that I've... oh, sorry. I've got my words wrong. Are we not just assuming I've got a massive skill issue? Ah, piss. Stay on the dry tyre. Seems to be working. Be honest, yeah, out of those two options, I probably would also go for the cactus. Buns. Yeah, on the N64 version, it did look like you were actually meant to slide. Whereas in this one, it's just heavily punished.
Getting out.
Oh, I'm just getting scruffy. Buns. Right, we'll move on. I can't remember. We did a couple early on. There was a terrible mountain bike game, the Game 20, where I probably save stated the heaviest. But my excuse for that was that it was giving me a headache. I did also use save states on the original Wipeout, but in my defense, I have gone back and I off-stream beaten that properly since, so... Explosive Racing was one because that had a one-life system. And Burning Road, which was the same guys. I think I did save state tanks as well, yeah. Because that had a really punishing league system as well, didn't it? It makes making it sound like a save state everything now. Yeah, it's mad, like, especially since the N64 version 1 was first snuffed in. You know, it's just mad that they got this one so wrong. You'd expect them to maybe have learnt from the mistakes and, you know. Cool. I'm leaving the original save state intact as well. Okay. No, I'm not sure it did in the N64. Wet, wet. It's a Vinguetti. Silly goose. Right, need to start dropping in wins if I can. Oh man.
Get out.
Yeah. Bigger stop for that corner. Always gets me. I think your last comment is probably the most correct one. They can definitely do wider tracks if they want. Maybe the convert, and maybe this was what you were getting at. Maybe it was a case of the conversion compressed the scale, and they just, yeah, didn't care to readjust it. It's quite doesn't have the turning circle that I'm used to, this car.
Get out.
Alright, even though this is probably going to be a reload, I'm going to finish this attempt anyway. I want to see championship implications. Is it the same guy who won race 1? Or are the opponents taking points off each other this time? Even then, something like the scale of the polygons shouldn't really be a thing, you know. The number of polygons, yes. Size of them, it's just 3 points. Doesn't matter how far apart they are. Oh, of course, they did Superman. As a developer, I dare say Superman 64. It wasn't called that, but that's the shorthand. Would have been their most famous game, but for all the wrong reasons. Hi, Skin. Yes, pretty much. Just keep trying until I get the result I want. Okay, I didn't get to see the Champo. Couldn't be bothered going through a loading screen for it. Ah, but it's okay, because the winner then was Linda. She didn't win race 1. Well, I did look up Titus the Fox again out of curiosity, and that was quite well received at the time. Okay, I'm not going to stiffen the suspension this time. They made a good Superman and cancelled it. Amazing. That is genuinely amazing. I think I only played it once. I couldn't find an attack button, and jumping on an enemy damaged me. So I fucked it off. I never got past the first level. Anyone else ever just feel that Superman as a character is just a bit rubbish? He's just too super. I'm sure I'm not the first to say this, but I'm saying it right now. I just got punted. Thanks, game. You know, it is fine when you're 5 years old and you don't actually need to see your hero come up against any not competition. What's the word? Any struggle. Yeah. You know, Superman character in life would be like playing a computer game with all the cheats enabled, you know. Invincible lives, you know, super strength, super speed. Infinite health, all enabled at once. Super Ted. That's the throwback. I was never really into superheroes, you know. Something about all the spandex just put me off.
Get out of my way.
It's a bit too corny, you know. That's a reload. Also, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I was into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're not really they're superheroes, but they're not superheroes in the Marvel and DC sense, are they? Okay, a different winner. Ah, it's saved then. Damn it. Okay. I think we're okay. I think we've got a good mix of competitors. Let's try that race again. Oh, it's drying this time. I'm gonna buy Super Slicks. Hope that it dries quickly. It was the UK Shadow. Ninja was a banned term. I'm not sure. I think because it promoted violence or something. I know. Bloody UK again. Bastards, eh?
Get ready.
Okay, wet tires are trash. That's what we've learnt. Ah, fuck. More braking than I was expecting. And the track's dry. Gamble paid off. Oh, it seems like it's sped up again. But it's because I'm in the lead and it's not processing any other cars on screen, I think. Bullshit. Right, once caught up, they always do. That's it. Okay, not a superhero. But one of my favourite cartoons when I was young. Count Duckula. It's just so weird. I did. Oh, I did watch Captain Planet. Why? Why would I watch Captain Planet and not X-Men? I suppose Captain Planet, like, even though the show's named after him, you know, he just kind of turned up to save the day at the end, didn't he? After they put the rings together. He wasn't front and center all the way. Okay, any wet to dry race from now on. Slick tires. Hello, Grim. Sorry if I was a little rude to you yesterday. Just at that moment in time, I was really not in the mood for a, have you tried driving faster? Repeats of Bat Frink. I've not heard of that one. So it was going to be a, have you tried driving faster? Have you tried winning? That's a shame. But even if the song was rubbish, you've learnt from the process. You know, to write a good song, you got to write a bunch of shit ones first. Hey, top of the league. Lumber mill, dry and dry. That's snow. Well, unfortunately, Shadow, not all of us were born perfect like you. Alright. Save. Just choose the oddest time signature, and if anyone complains, just say that they don't get it. That they're musical Philistines. Oh my, Snufkin, that sounds a bit... bit fun. Right, so after this is the track that's easiest to win. So I'll probably accept a top 3 with this one. I've never been great at this track. I mean, I've always used the snow tyres on the game's recommendation, but when there's no actual snow coming down, it makes me wonder if I'm meant to be on studs. And the studded and snow tyres are analogues in the same way that the slicks and wet tyres are. But we're doing fine, so maybe that's not the case. Damn it. Top two are checking out. I'm just getting absolutely harassed by everybody else. Might accept a top four. Oh, I could try my snow and studded tyre theory if I reload. See the point for. Oh no! Game, what are you doing to me? I'm actually curious. Gonna buy the super stud tire instead. It's mostly a get good and abuse safe states job, Grim. The game's kind of broken, to be honest. But this is the thing. You're making a rather bold assumption that they were thinking. Possibly is, but the game seems to run faster when I'm in the lead. So... But the emulator's set at only 100% CPU. I've not done anything screwy to make it run faster. You know what? I think I'm right with my tyre theory. I am. So snow tyres are for when it's actively snowing, like a wet tyres for when it's raining. And the stud tyre is the slick of winter. I think. If only I knew this like 6 or 7 hours of gameplay ago. Okay, I'm getting swallowed up again. Take it back. That was mostly because I was crashing into everything. Look at that. Oh wait, I've actually ignore that because I've got no comparison because I used the save state. I've always struggled on this track. I've always used snow tyres because that was the default. But I'd upgrade them to supers, but yeah, I've always been on the wrong tyre, it seems. Ready for the punt. A word that rhymes with punt. Still struggling though. does also seem better from a race pace perspective to, rather than say lifting and coasting through a corner, brake and then accelerate through it. Like that one, for example, that little kink. I'm going to accept fourth, but it didn't feel like a better result was far off that time, whereas on the snow tyres I was barely holding on for a point. You know, if I was pushing a little less hard, and I think I would have got a better result. You know, just focus on cleanliness a bit. Of course, when you try and take the corners too carefully, you get shunted. Today marks the end of your Oh, I'm sorry, Grim. I'm sorry. A snide F50. We think it is. Caster has also referred to it as an F50. What's that done for the Champo? Rain is the main competition. Let's... Snowing and staying dry, but we'll use studs. A soft suspension and long ratios for this one. Duck Station. It's really good. Probably the best for PS1. I mean, I've been on it for a couple of years now, so I haven't really got much basis of comparison anymore. But it's fucking great. When I was asking around a couple of years ago, everyone was recommending it, and it's had regular updates since. If you get it yourself, make sure to get the nightly beta build, so you get the updates as soon as they're released. Yeah, it is such a good emulator. Very happy with it. Right, we need to win this one. Nothing less than a win will do. But yeah, that's some good stuff to be had on PS1 if you care to look. But a lot of PS1 hasn't aged well, but at the same time, emulators have kind of helped on that front. Things don't feel as janky as they otherwise would. You know, when you use the nice little upscalers like I am. I mean, if you like JRPGs, then it's a brilliant console for that. dare say the Crash Bandicoot games are all well worth a visit. If you're into 3D platformers. Bums!
Get out of my way.
I don't know, it was a long time ago when I kind of got worried about or came to the opinion that PS1 games weren't aging well, because I kind of arrived at that opinion when I was on PS2 still. I tried to play Colony Wars Vengeance on the PS2 because one of my housemates at uni had been playing the GameCube Star Wars game. It made me fancy going back for some Colony Wars, and oof, did not hold up well at all. But with all the upscaler stuff, maybe it does. I am tempted to go back for another try on Colony Wars Vengeance. So when PS1 was current, I got all the Colony Wars games and thought they were all great. Hooey! Piss off! Winner. This is it. You know, this was the first generation of fully 3D consoles, and if you compare, you know, Master System to Mega Drive, like, you know, Master System can sometimes be hard to go back to when you're playing Double Dragon and all the opponents are flashing because it can only render so many sprites at once, so it's taking turns on who gets displayed on any which frame. Well, this was a strange old thing. I remember Grim when I was 14. Because when I was younger, my brother sold our Master System to a neighbour, but like next to no money, and I ended up going to my local game shop and asking, "Have you got a Master System?" And they got one off eBay for me for 15 quid. When eBay was new. I didn't have internet at home, so I couldn't do that myself. I've never played a Saturn, Snufkin. No one I knew had a Saturn. Best game on the Master System is Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. It did get a remake, though, which is absolutely gorgeous. And if you wanted to play Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, I would say play the remake. I mean, the remake is literally just a repaint. They did not change the gameplay at all because it's perfect. But God, it's the same team that did Streets of Rage 4 and the new Turtles beat 'em up for the art style. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, Dreamcast never really took off, did it? Those who have them, still to this day, one of my mates has a Dreamcast, and to this day, he still bangs on about it like it's the second coming of Christ. I mean, it's a shame. because with I was my console history was Master System, then Mega Drive, then PS1, PS2. And when the Dreamcast got announced, I was kind of fully immersed in Sony world there, and so I was a bit dismissive. You know, I bought PlayStation magazines and they did like tech comparisons. Not that any of the numbers meant anything to me, but I did know that bigger number usually means better. But to be honest, I mean, even if the PS2 was weaker than the Dreamcast, I was that heavily into Final Fantasy at the time, I was only ever going to buy what Final Fantasy X got released for. Right, I've done my setup. Let's... Oh. Save. Right, we're 2 points behind, and this track is a winnable one. I look forward to the GameCube. Yeah, there's Steam Machine. Not myself. But I already have a PC plugged into my main TV anyway. When I bought my fancy PC to power my sim rig triples, the old PC got put in the living room.
Get ready. Go.
Get out of my way.
I mean, the concept's fine, but at the same time, I'm not exactly sure who will buy it. You know? But at the same time, Valve prints that much money through Steam that they definitely have the budget to be able to market to whoever they want if they're willing to spend that money. Because, you know, Steam Machine isn't a new concept, is it? They've done it before. I guess with the success of the Steam Deck, they might have a bit more mass market penetration now. By that I mean, you know, brand recognition outside of the PC space. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you spoke to someone who's only ever had Xboxes and PlayStations, if they struggle to even know what Steam is. Who Valve is. Sorry, I'm having to lock in on this a little. I'll have to catch up with comments after the race. This wanker could stop blocking me, that would be swell. Eat my piss.
Nothing but the best.
You're thinking of what? Well, when are they getting released, Grim? Yeah, if the price is right, why not? You know, it is just a PC after all. DC did have Shenmue, Fantasy Star, Skies of Arcadia, Resident Evil, Spellstone, Street Fighter 3. Well, that's a strong start, but yeah, they were only doing games for a couple of years, weren't they? But yeah, I mean, my position was I was immediately sold on PS2 just because at that time in my life, my favorite games were the Final Fantasy games. So yeah, I was an easy sell. Top of the league, and that was Linda in second, so that was further. Ooh, that's good. Dry. I think medium gears for this one, isn't it? Some super slicks. Yeah, we wait and see, Grim. As I said then, I think how big a hit it'll be might depend more on how hard Valve want to back it. You know? How much do they want it to be a hit? Because, yeah, they've got the money. They can push it like hell. Little save. Well, they were... I don't think it was just a fuck it, we're out. I think they were basically ready to collapse at that point, weren't they, Snufkin? I think there was too many people like me happy to wait for the PS2 rather than rush out for the Dreamcast. Because I remember seeing on the news like coverage of people who'd gone to like the midnight launch of the console, and my opinion was, why don't you just wait for a PS2? But yeah, and Grim's got a good point. You know, they were unfortunately they were what's the word? Crippled by the Saturn, so they didn't really have the resource to back the Dreamcast as much as they needed to, and that's such a shame. But when you hear the stories about the 32X and the Saturn getting developed in parallel, about the amount of shit flinging that happened between Sega Japan and Sega America, it's no fucking wonder that they fucked it up so hard. And it hurts me to say that, because Sega was my team until I jumped ship to Sony. I was a kid. You know, who wanted to play as a fat plumber when you could be a cool blue hedgehog? All the best games were on Mega Drive in the 16-bit era. Except for the ones that weren't. But in the UK, the Mega Drive was a much bigger hit than the SNES, wasn't it? None of my friends had one. The only time I even saw a SNES, I saw two when they were current. My cousins who lived in London had a SNES. And my older brother borrowed one off one of his friends for a while. And that's how I got to play Star Fox for the first time. Which was pretty cool. I mean, you know, Star Fox on SNES was very impressive. But, you know, Sega only really have themselves to blame. I don't remember any of my friends having a Sega CD. I don't know why they thought the 32X was a good idea. Again, I've been monologuing because I'm having to lock into the race. I can't wait to read comments responding to a point I made that I forget making. I'll be happy with the second place in this race. It's usually a track of struggle on this one. Off.
Even a genius has bad days.
Let's catch up. Let's face it, the Dreamcast Sonic games sucked. The only time I played a Dreamcast Sonic game was because I bought Sonic Adventure on Steam, which is apparently the worst way to play Sonic Adventure, but I've never really been a fan of 3D platformers, so let's not forget about Neptune. What was the Neptune? SNES wasn't a thing in Russia. Remember, we had Sega World in Tokadero and Sega World in Australia. It was supporting about 15 consoles. What? Saturn was extremely successful in Japan. I thought... I mean, I don't know the reality of that generation in Japan, but my assumption would have been Nintendo... Well, they were all Japanese consoles, all three of them at that time, weren't they? Neptune was a standalone 32X. Why? Why would you do a standalone 32X when you're also developing the Saturn? Absolute lunatics. Linda won. Okay, that is a really good result for me. That's an 8-point Champo lead. Okay, so Finland was a SNES country. Interesting. Wet. But do I just go for the slicks anyway? Because I'm not convinced about the wet tires. Interesting. Let us science it. I don't think the Game Gear did especially well anywhere. One of my mates had one, and he would pretty much only exclusively play it at home because he had an adapter to plug it into the wall. It was the only way he could afford to play it. I think what helped the Game Gear was that they could effectively just port Master System games to it. You know, it made it a lot easier to release games for it.
Get ready. Go.
It remains pretty incredible how Sony had to respond to Shadow's comment about most people immediately jumping on PS1. It is quite incredible just how strongly Sony started. Because, you know, I mean, we've been talking about Sega and Sony and Nintendo. We're not even mentioning all the other flop consoles that happened around that time. You know, Atari tried. Was this around the time of the Jaguar? You know, and there was various others all trying to get into the space and barely making a splash, but Sony literally just turned up and almost immediately became the market leader, and that's ridiculous. '64 was selling poorly in Japan at the time for a brief period due to the home release of Virtua Fighter. The Saturn was actually selling the PS1, which is why Tekken became a household name. Yeah, because... Who developed Tekken? Was that a Sony brand? Or was it just released on PlayStation? Is it actually Sony? Namco. But they got an exclusivity on it. I won't be surprised if Sony bunged them a few quid. You know that 3D fight you're doing, lads? Make sure it's really good, eh?
Get out. Get out.
Is that right, Skin? I can probably afford one flop result. I'd rather not, because I don't know how the last two tracks are. Yeah, I think the last track is called Titus Park or something like that, so you know it's going to be a shitter. It's drying! I thought it was meant to stay wet! Right, it's still raining. But yeah. Wet tires in this game, worthless. Just use slicks. Never use snow tires, just use studs.
Get out.
Found the cheat code. 2 more laps. Come on. Again, it feels like I'm playing on fast forward. Get in! Huge result. What have you been saying? Didn't Sony advertise PlayStation's DVD player though? As others said, yes, that was PS2. They did the same trick with PS3 and Blu-ray. What's got a funny name? Oh, the Namco hardware. Don't lose the cheat code. The cheat code is in my head. Knowledge get. PS1 wasn't particularly popular here because no one could afford a console anyway. I mean, another curiosity, going back into the Sega sphere, was how long the Master System was supported. I think they were still supporting the Master System when the Dreamcast came out in Brazil. Yeah, Brazil just loved the Master System and never moved on. One of the reasons Sony had such a strong start is, yeah, good point, and marketing heft as well. You know, they had the money for the marketing, and they did a really good job on it. How about the game dev costs and challenges? I don't know about the development shadow, but it was very much a fact that it was much cheaper to publish on the PS1. Oh, look at that 15-point lead! Three races to go. That's 30 points. Dry, may rain. I don't care. We've already worked out that slicks are the best tyre in the rain. Here we go. If I win this one, and my main Champo rival comes second, I will have a 19-point lead with 2 races left. That's only 20 points, so I think we've got this. Shut up. Fucking hell. comes the rain. It's such a pain. John, Linda. Wait, no, it's... Yeah, it is Linda, the main Champa arrival in this cup, isn't it? Thank you for the punt.
Sloppy.
Get out.
Ah, come on. Hey, Addict, how you doing, friend? How are those pole position cabinets? If they could stop driving into me, that would be really swell. I'll accept a third. Oh, I won't accept a fifth. Shit, I have fucked this. Oh, Paul. Yeah, sorry, catching up again. Right, let me reload this. I hope I've dropped a save. Sure it did. Yeah, it did.
I'm a handsome genius.
Yeah, why buy a PS5 when... Oh, FIFA 95, not 96 skin, gosh. But I was just asking how are the cabinets. That's all I asked. Oh, nice. That's cool. What was I going to say? Not a lot. Let's try that again. All crumbled on the last lap. That was looking strong. But yes, that was it. Votes. Votes, votes, votes. If you haven't done your vote, get on it because this is such a close one. prior to the stream starting, Option 1 Destruction Derby was on 13 votes. Ford Truckmania and Looney Tunes Racing were tied in second with 11 votes. A 2-vote spread between all 3 games. So every vote counts, lads. No double voting, they get rejected. You only get to pick one. Oh, this one is... Oh no, it was fully wet last time, wasn't it? A haunted house pinball for $50. Man, that is neat. Have you got a photo of that? Pop that in the Discord. You know, I hope you've already bought it. Pit maneuvered. This. One more. Come on. Oh, Paul. Keep it together, lad. Oh, you fucking don't. Oh, we're pretty much there. A free coffee from Greg's, living the dream. And I think main Champo rival did not finish second. So this game is technically complete. There's still 2 tracks to do, but I think I've got an unassailable lead. Hurrah. We will confirm in a moment. I mean, I'll do the last two tracks. I'm not going to skip them because, you know, the new. But I can finish last on both of them, I think. What a anticlimax after the stress of the last two nights. God bless save states. Oh no, what? Why have I only got a 15-point lead? I had a 15-point lead before this race. I didn't save. I've repeated a race. I didn't save. I've won race 7 twice. Wow, I'm an idiot. Now I've saved. Fuck me. There was a small amount of doubt in my head, but I was like, no, surely you're fine. Surely. I wasn't fine. Shit. Right, it's fine. At least I didn't not win. Oh dear. Yeah, anyway, story time. I mentioned yesterday that no story time. The pictures have just come up. Let me pause this. Oh. Still notice, I mean, how do you deal with the rust on the wheel? Still so cool. And I assume, is that gear stick still solid? This, though, is looking great. Cool. Oh, God, there's a lot more that have just appeared. Oh, my, that's not in the best nick, is it? Wow. Still so cool. Move that out of the way. Oh. Yeah, that's looking like it's going to be a lot of work, that pinball table addict.
Get ready.
Anyway, I was just having a look and yeah, it looks like that pinball table might be a lot of work. Oh dear. Modern technology, eh? Anyway, I've had a bit of a day today. It just needs a very deep cleaning, few test spots. Oh wow, Jesus. A $3,950 profit minus cost of cleaning materials. That's something. Wow. Yeah. I mentioned yesterday my car got its MOT today. For those who aren't British, the MOT is the British acronym for basically your car's safety check. And I had booked in to drop it off at 8:30 a.m, so I turned up on time, hand over the key. Got mentioned, our MOT lift, i.e. the thing that raises the car, is broken, but it's getting fixed at 10. Well, not the best start, but fine. And then you're kind of stuck all day because you don't want to get involved in something too heavy just to get interrupted, you know? I finally got a phone call at 4 p.m. and they couldn't open the bonnet, the hood. And I'm like really confused because I did not know there was an issue with the mechanism. It's like there was a little like plastic clip that liked to catch from time to time. So, you know, I mentioned it, but I was like, you know, surely they're used to stuff like that. You know, it's a bit vain. And I was like, yeah, we've all, you know, we've had 3 of us in there and, you know, we know our stuff, he says. Right, so what do we do? Like, you'll have to take it in to the dealership and get the mechanism replaced. And then we can do your MOT. Obviously, we can't do it if we can't open the hood. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. What was the other detail? Yeah, like I say, 3 of them, and like just nothing seems to be happening, he says, when we pull the lever. Anyway, I wandered down because the place is only 5 minutes walk away. And just as I was leaving my house, it occurred to me there's 2 levers and my Dacia's a bit backwards. So in the driver's footwell, there's a lever that opens the boot, or the trunk for you Americans. But the lever for the engine cover is in the passenger side. You know, but surely they know. You know, Dacia just, like, they kind of left it in the Euro config and just put the minimum of things that they had to on the like UK driver's side, because we drive on the other side to the rest of Europe. Anyway, I went down. I walked past my car on the way to the reception, so I just gave the boot a little tug. It was open. So I went in, and I wasn't going to mention it because it would have been so condescending. But, great, still third. But main Champa arrival was first, but we're going to accept that. Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to get my key, give it a little go myself, just to be sure. But I said to him, "It's you did get the correct lever, didn't you? Because the one in the driver's seat is for the boot, and the bonnet one is in the passenger side." He's like, "What do you mean?" "No, the one lever for the bonnet is on the left." And his face just went, dropped a mile. So he's like, "Give me the key. I'll show you. We went in, and it wasn't broken. 3 mechanics couldn't open the bonnet. That's the beautiful thing. We know our stuff. Oh no. so they kept the car. They was like, all right, we'll do it now, because they did book me in for next week to get the issue sorted and then take it back. But yeah, they did it straight away. Fair enough. However, they did find an issue. There was some play in the right front suspension. So bye-bye £315. They've still got my car. Right, 9-point lead. Got the 2 new tracks. I think that's that's long gear looking, that layout. Oh, it might be medium. Depends on that chicane on the straight at the bottom. Is that flat on that? I'm gonna go long. So yeah, if 160 people fancy subscribing to pay for my suspension, that'd be swell. It looks like it was the only thing they found, but you know what? I want them to find it. And it's the first time this car, which I've had for 9 years now, has failed on something significant. Like I had like £20 wheel bearings, and I've had to change some tires. This is the first time it's failed on something that's cost some proper money. So I've been quite lucky with this car. But we are hitting the point now where I've got to start thinking, is it maybe time to swap it in? But I don't drive enough, you know. I work from home a lot, so there's a part of me that says, do I need a car at all? The main reason I need a car is to do my music, but I've not had a gig since July. Ah, fuck. I'm just gonna have to drop a save state in this loading screen. Drop it at the end of the loading screen. Well. It looks like it was the only thing they found, so that's fine. I'm starting to notice a bit of rust here and there, you know. 10 years old, been kept outside. To be expected. A lot more right angles on this track map compared to the loading screen. I think long gears was not the play. Okay, I thought the left of that track was just some of that weird jaggedy artifacting you sometimes get with PS1 games, but no, that was the actual geometry too. I'm not too fussed about the issue with the bonnet. A, because I'm off work this week anyway. Not really a big deal. Don't really need the car urgently. B, it's a funny story, isn't it? I might try this one on short gears. I've never used short gears in this game. gonna finish this race no matter what, and whether we use the load the save state or not, literally depend on the Champo situation. Solely depend on the Champo situation. There that telephone box always ringing. So weird. Pick up the phone, French people. Damn it. Someone was programming that sound effect to play whenever I pass a telephone, and they could have been doing something like make the game good.
Get out.
Complete waste of resource. Oh, absolute state. You know what? I can't change the gears because I forgot to save until we were loading in. Most people weren't going to play to the end and figured whoever was going to try was enjoying it. Ah, this lunatic. But who could have predicted Twitch console challenge streamers in the 90s? We'll check the Champo, make a decision. Do we try that track again? Just move on. Put all our chips to the final race basket. Could be okay. 7-point lead. Result was in my favor. That's a third place guarantees the championship regardless what happens. However, just to be absolutely sure. New save slot. And we know the rule. Wet tires are for cowards. Super slick. I'll leave it on normal gear ratios. But this could be it. And we get to spin the wheel. I'll go for a little break. We'll go running. In the form of the game running high. Which means this could be the last stream of this voting block. So once again, if you haven't voted yet, get them in.
Get ready.
More like Shitus Park, am I right?
Go.
Just need a top 3. Otherwise, we're relying on results in our favour. Whoa. There's a rainbow, a waterfall, and another waterfall. Insufficient lighting. There are tracks. Bones.
Get out.
Okay. Good start. Honestly, it plays nicer when the frames start chugging. Because the updates are definitely based on frames and not time. I'm not sure the timer updates are because I don't have time to look at it. The actual game is.
Get out.
Okay, we're in the championship seat. 1 of 3. Ah! Surprise fence. It's fine. Still in the seat. On that to go.
Get out. Get out.
Fuck off. No! Would have been nice to finish on a win, but a second is enough. Fuck off, game. What an absolute shower. First Division champion with absolutely no save state assistance. Shh. Smart dog, more like shart dog. Not the most thrilling. Michael Moore worked on it. Yeah, not the most thrilling credit roll ever, is it? Quality control. Sack the lot. Sack them all. Oh, it was just one lad. Oh. And it shows. Voice recordist. Voice artists. Sure. Oh, just one of each gender. Don't thank me. Please don't thank me, game. Don't thank the player. Please. Oh, phew. Really didn't want to be thanked for playing that game. Not that I paid for it. Hello, Nabis. I know, they couldn't even celebrate themselves correctly, could they, Skin? I think we're done. Yeah, we've just finished, mate. There was a bit of save state help, but you know what? I deserved it. Just waiting to see if there's anything else. Nope. Ah, that is a relief. Oh, it was so bad. Really got nothing. You know, there was a little bit of potential in there. The track design wasn't awful, but yeah. And that's it. Then you can just win again if you want. Who'd want that? Right, let's bring the spreadsheet over. It is time. Oh, you missed my MOT story, Nabis. I had a fun one today. But Roadsters is done. 9 hours, 34. 125,722. Unfortunately, in terms of content, it could have been a one-shot. But it wasn't. They couldn't open the bonnet. 3 of them couldn't open it. They pulled the wrong lever and opened the boot and didn't realize. I got a phone call. It's like, you're going to have to take it back to the dealership and have it replaced because obviously we don't have the parts for that. It didn't occur to me immediately that it could have been pulling the wrong lever because, in their own words, they know what they're doing. And yeah, I went down and I walked past the car to get to the reception, just gave the boot a little tug. It was open because they'd pulled the wrong lever and not heard the boot click. And then when they'd driven it back out into the car park, they'd not noticed the door open light either. There was an issue though, so they've actually still got it. A 300 quid bill to replace something in the right front suspension, which has got some play in it when it shouldn't. All right, so we beat the road. Anyway, back to the business. We beat the Roadster trophy mode, and anyone who's watched me play this for 5 minutes, and oh, hello Andrew. Sorry, I might have said hello and might not. I don't know. I was in story mode. Oh, I'd rather they fixed it rather than just let me drive on dodgy suspension out of embarrassment over the bonnet latch. Yeah, I really can't say anything good about that game. You know, the track design could have been all right. Graphically, it was very blocky and basic, and I think this was a 1999 game, so, you know, there was much better stuff out in this time, showing what you could do with the PS1. The handling was awful. The speed of the game seemed locked to the frame rate, which meant when you got a lead, the game sped up and became harder to control. There was very harsh rubber banding, and even the sound quips that the people made were annoying. Often you couldn't, so a lot of them you couldn't hear, so even the sound balance was off. There's really just nothing good about it, and it doesn't feel like it would have been a lot of work to make it okay, because the N64 version, which came sooner, you know, looked like a good 4 or 5 out of 10 when I looked into it this morning. But this one is a 1. It's a 1 because games are meant to be fun, mate, and there was none of that here. So what can I say? I had some other ideas, but I'm going to try and do something a little more thoughtful. I'm just running out of ways to call things bad is the problem I'm having here. Shoddy and stressful. Helps if I spell it correct. I can't be calling stuff shoddy and have my own work shoddy, can I? Stressful. Shoddy and stressful, 1 out of 10. Cool. So, game 195 is the vote game. Ooh, wrong color. We're going to spin the wheel here to actually decide game 196. And if anyone missed the spin after Super Sprint, we initially span another game called, was it Formula Une? It was actually a Japanese language F1 management sim. So it actually got removed from the challenge because I'm not doing a Japanese language management game. That's why I don't have the horse games. And then instead we span up as a replacement Running High, which could be a one-shot. Like I'm talking a sub-hour one-shot. So I'm going to move on to it. First, let's pick 196. It's surf music. Now this one's been talked about before. Micromaniacs. Everything's a one shot if you don't care enough, Andrew. Right, let's grab a YouTube tab. Oh, I thought I had one open. There we go. This is another running one. Yeah. I wish this person would stop reviewing them in the title. Bad racing game on foot. No, I want to decide it's a bad racing at Codemasters, that's promise. Oh, it's all endings. Fuck off. Challenge mode, long play. There we go. Long play 2 hours. So 8 hours if you're bad like me. It's the same aspect or camera position as Micro Machines. Yeah, I've literally just done Micro Machines on foot, haven't they? Slow CPU what? Slow CPU cheat enabled. Oh, Boo earns. You coward, long play archive, man. Alright, this is not a racing level. It's more of a maze. We gotta pick up a bunch of dots. Yeah, it is literally just micro feet. Could be fun. The big problem with this aspect ratio, of course, is always, can you see enough of the road ahead? Because we don't have a mini-map to judge this off either. Oh, wow. Cool. That's pretty neat looking. Banging. But yeah, before we get to go running, we've got to go running, and then we've got to do whatever you guys vote for, and then we get to play that game. But for now, I'm going to take a quick break. I will set up running high, and we will carry on. So I'll be right back.